Alright, folks. So, there's been discussion back and forth, and with T4s. Now, there's been things said, and honestly, like, I really feel like a couple of the things that, that have been said, and the conversations got interesting. I'll use that word. That seems like the most relevant in this situation. But I feel like, honestly, some people have said that T4 are worthless, but in my opinion, I think it's situational, and I feel like now that I've discovered more and talked to a stronger player, I do believe that there is disadvantages to T4. There is advantages to T4, and the dynamic of it kind of, I was questioning it because in what it appeared as if T4 moving ahead and before the other troops, which it's been explained to me that it's the attacking siege range bonus bracers and stuff that's affecting the T4 thing. Also, I've seen discussion of how T4 isn't relevant in big rallies and big siege rallies, and I feel like that is not true. And I'm going to go through reports. I'm going to go through some stuff. So, let's go into PvP. I fought, was it Aura? Yeah, it was Aura. So I fought Aura in SVS. Now, if it's a siege solo, 100% I agree. T4 is worthless, and it's a liability, and you are going to be negative. Which it didn't hurt me a lot. I was about 16 million negative on this. But as you see, the lost power is less, but it doesn't matter because she's killing heaps and heaps of T4s. So those 40 million, those were all the T4s. If you didn't know, Aura has pretty good buffs, to say the least. I've got pretty good debuff, and we both know this about each other. So it's kind of, we just kind of like test each other in battles, like pretty frequently. REB is the alliance that zeroed me. But I changed everything, so a lot has changed. And in this report you're going to see, like, pretty much all but a few cav. It was all T4, right? And it was a small siege. Right there's the 11s. So, small siege is what it is. But it's always going to be negative. I feel like the only way it could not be is if you went with flats, which I did for a while. The issue with that is if you're going with flat siege, you have to ghost your higher tier siege, and then you're basically going flats on your siege just to be able to be positive against a small siege. And in my opinion, it's not worth it. So, then I'm going to see if this message is still here. But I had a discussion, and I asked her, and she gave me some clarity on it. So here we go. So this gives us a little bit more definition on how it works. On her side, she thought she was 100 million positive. On my side, I was 32 million negative. So, I don't know. Evony, who knows? So she says there is only one way to make T4 siege work, but T11 rallies will still wreck it. And then, we get to a discussion about my defense. Getting rid of here's the thing. In the reports, T4 siege will never get kills, but that doesn't mean they aren't doing anything. I agree. They are taking rounds of battles off your other siege. They won't get kills at all just because they aren't in range to kill anything. So then I asked, do they move differently than the other siege? I just don't understand how they get kills, but nothing else engages. Aura says they have a different range than higher tier siege. It means they have to move close to engage, but no other layers engage. So something about the bracers with siege range increase puts T11 in a spot to target T4 siege before anything else, at least for one round. So we get into some clarity. It's the attacking troops extra range on the bracers. So now, against a small siege solo, it's not going to help you. I don't really get small siege rallies. Seem to have kind of become something of the past because I rarely get hit with them anymore. But I'm going to go down into my Allstar reports because they're going to be the best litmus test for this, because the alliance I'm in now are facing smaller opponents. So some of them have good buffs, but they don't have enough depth to send serious rallies. Some of them can send bigger rallies, but they don't have enough buffs to really support them. So pardon the mass panning here, but I want to get down to my All-Star reports, and that's going to give us a better example of what T4 does do in a big siege rally, because that was another thing brought up on my channel. Now, that being said, I want to go in and let's do an accurate example. Let's look and see exactly what T4 Siege is doing against a big siege rally. Now, these reports I've used as examples before, so for some of you that have been watching the channel for a while, you're definitely going to notice these reports, and it's going to pop in your head, oh, he showed us this before. But when you're looking for specific things in reports, that's where you can see and find more things, more little tidbits that are going to help you. So the report I'm looking for is prelims of All-Star, and it's going to be Tito from RSP was a rally setter. Now, there was a solo that was set early, and usually most of us will be alerting our team when our march settles. So that being said, this might have just been a full-on solo to see if he could be positive against me. I went too far. So it should be right up here. Somewhere, maybe, perhaps. Oh, this is Shalon, so it'll be the next. Should be coming up here soon. Even these are good. We can look at these too. Nah, the All-Star ones are more current, so we'll go there. That is my alliance. Okay, come on, there it is. So, beginning of All-Star, this is the first hit. And it was a archer. That's not the one we're looking for. So this one, so here's the siege, and dangerously close to, in my opinion, dangerously close to being negative. It's a billion. It was about a billion positive. And we look at the buffs: 43, 87, 35, 05. Very, very good. And now we go into the report, which this one He did dig into the upper tiers, but I feel like my 13s and 12s would have taken a lot more had the 4s, and I really hope that I'm correct because otherwise I'll look like an idiot. Yep, the 4s did engage, so that means that they are doing stuff. They're getting very little kills, and I only had one rain, but they are engaging, so the thought process that T4s don't do anything against a big siege rally is incorrect. I am pretty sure that this was big siege. And it was. You sent a lot of 50s. You probably shouldn't have sent all those 15s. So it was a big siege. But the T4s do engage. Which, yeah, am I taking... So basically, those T4s, because in reports I've seen, this is how it works. So they engage the T4s first because of their range. And then, so apparently they're not hitting the high tiers on the first round. And then the second round is when they're doing all the hitting. So, with that being said, likely, in my opinion, they hit the T4s first, which I could be wrong, but they did engage the T4s. The T4s did help stop the rally. So T4 Siege does do stuff in big siege rallies. And just to like double, you know what? We already looked at one siege rally from them, so let's look for one from an opponent. And this one, so I was positive, well, that was Archer. And just for shits and gigs, I'm going to go down to 4 and see. So look, against Archer, and I've mentioned this before too, Archer, the T4 Siege will kill a decent amount of Archers. So they killed a little bit over 2 million, and the rally was 94. So, you know, probably a small percentage, but 2 million is still a significant amount for a low tier troop. That's probably killing higher tier troops. We're looking for another siege. Calamansi brought the noise. Well, that was a solo. I feel like that was a oopsie. Here's Calamansi again with an oopsie. Tito. Well, this won't tell us much because it's the same, you know, it's the same person that hit me before. But no, it isn't really going to tell us anything. So let's go here. X-Wing pilot, Archer, X-Wing pilot, Siege. So I had a decent amount of rain, 39 million. His buffs are good, I'm sure, because he's pretty good. Yeah, he's probably close to 5k siege buffs at this point. And we look into the detail, and again, good rains here, good number of reinforcements. And we go down and look, so the T-15s were gone, the T-14s were nearly gone, and once he hit me, the T-13s were gone. But I had taken quite a few rallies already, and all that's left is my 13 and 12. So in this, I do want to point out that in your defense, if you have, if you're built heavy on the top and you've built a lot of 12s to support the 13s, like this will work. And they cleared a whole layer for sure, but they didn't dig into the T12s hardly at all. So if you are going to be siege heavy, always plan and expect that your high tier is going to get taken away. Your top 2 tiers are going to go away unless you're like a massive keep that's like 50 billion or more. So you need to eventually start thinking about, you know, the second or third siege rally and what you're going to lose, and build accordingly to make it harder for them to work through your siege. Now, let's go down and see what the T4 did. I didn't look ahead of time, so I have no idea. Yeah, so again, same dynamic. The T4 is engaging, and this is my point on this is, you know, you look, and nothing else is engaging, nothing else is killing troops, none of those other tiers are. It's just T4 just ends up being in that goofy range where the bracers from the enemy are going to make an impact, and they are going to hit your T4s. But it does save your higher tiers from these waves of siege rallies. So it is going to make the impact that your city has from these rallies less significant. Losing all my 13s, did that hurt? Absolutely. But it's Allstars, and honestly, my keep is built like it can be zeroed. It's easily zeroed. But the point is, I want to take big enough rallies and wait till they're a little weakened, but big enough rallies so that I'm going to score enough points to make it to the next round. Which for me is semis, because I've never been to finals. So I'm hoping like this kind of clears up the whole like T4 siege thing, and this is a big siege rally. I'll go into it and we'll look. But yeah, this is a big siege rally. There's 12s. Or is it? Is that a T12 small siege? Because I'm sure he had high tiers left, but they are not in here. T12 is the highest. And so this guy sent big siege. Hero sent big siege. Unless he had been wiped down to 12, but that doesn't really make sense to me. Son Goku, he's been playing a while. He knows the game. His big siege is set up a little closer to mine. That makes sense. So, yeah, T4 is going to engage against big siege rallies. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen a small siege rally sent to me. So I can't really give a solid answer there. Well, these guys messed me up, son. $6.2. Well, with the reinforcements, I was negative. Let's see what the buffs were. 4758. Battle details. Attacker. That's a solid rally team right there, folks. Well, yeah, solid. And let's see. We'll just see if I had any T4s left. And I did, and they got zeroed. But I bet he really took me. Oh, yeah, he took me to the cleaners. Got the 7s, got the 6s. Got the 5s. So in this one, it really is hard to tell because they clearly cleared all my siege. And they did. And I'm certain that they started on my archers too. Yep. Dug into my 13s, completely cleared my 14s. Yeah. So it looks like I was slightly positive in this one, perhaps-ish. 6.2, so let's call that 7.1 versus 6.2. Yeah, so I was negative on that one for sure. Which, to know on point, positive or negative, you'd have to really go in and spend some time going through all those numbers, which I'm not willing to do. I'm not okay with that. So, yeah, I was negative on that one, but that was the siege clear for me. And let's see. Okay, so that was after the 13, so all my 13s were gone. So it worked on the 12s on down. Which, let's see what did any damage. My siege did not put up much of a fight there. Matter of fact, none of them got any kills. So they overpowered the last layer of high tier I had, which was the 12s. And then it just burnt through everything. Burnt through it all. which it was all weakened. And, this is later in the battle, so for me, it's like, it was inevitable, and I was going to be zeroed. Yeah, but I feel like I've covered the issue. Yeah, against small siege, yeah, your T4 is always going to create negative points. If they do a siege, if they do a big siege rally, it's going to benefit you. If they do a big siege and an archer rally, it's really going to benefit you because they're going to be killing high-tier archer. And as we've seen in the reports, they do kill quite a few in an archer rally. So basically the way I'm seeing it, it works because of the attacker's dynamic with the siege range bonus. So your T4s get hit first by the small siege. It will engage in a big siege rally, so it does, in a way, shield or protect your high tiers from taking the brunt of that hit, because they're going to have to engage your 4s first. Now, you can't say for sure maybe they just engage the 4s and just annihilate the 4s, but that doesn't make sense either, because if that was the case, then you wouldn't have any 4s left, unless the attack just didn't last long to kill them all. And then you see a difference on your high tiers. So it seems like in a big siege rally, it is going to help shield your higher tiers from taking as much damage. Against small siege, 50-50, and I don't think you can be. If you've got a small siege rally against you, you need siege range to come out ahead on that one. Depending on the amount that they send. But if they're sending more than 20, then yeah, you're going to be negative on that. I guess I'll just keep an eye on it and see if I'm small sieged again. And but that's kind of my take on the T4. In my opinion, it is going to help shield against big siege rallies. It is going to be a liability against small siege solos. But if they do a siege archer solo, or if they did a siege rally and an archer rally on you, you're definitely going to be positive. If they set all 4 on you and they're really big rallies, I recommend you move. But I feel like that's my final take and my final discussion on T4. It's been discussed multiple times, probably more than what's necessary. But at the end of the day, that's my thought. That's my complete thought to the whole works as to what they do, what they don't do. But that's, where I'm at and what's been explained to me, and then looking at some reports, that's pretty much my final opinion on it. And you know what? I may be wrong. I may be right, but I don't really care either way. I'm just looking at what the reports are saying and what players are telling me that it does and does not do. And basically getting back to try to finish the end of this discussion. And we can move on from the T4s. If you built them, I don't see the point in wasting resources to get rid of them. Continent 1 players probably don't do SVS as much. Most of us don't. So it's really not going to affect us much there. And time's too valuable on Battlefield. A big player is not going to just sit there and do small siege and small siege and small siege when you can heal it up really cheap. And it's just counterproductive, because then they're going to have to go through all your stuff anyway. So that's my final answer on the T4 siege.